Greetings and salutations, travelers. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads. And as always, welcome back to our Around the Hearth discussions. This time, we are discussing Pet Quest, or, something along that line. We're talking about playing animals, specifically pets. We're talking about playing pets. So, that's the plan this time. Before we get into that, let's do announcements. I am Adam L. Spain with the Inn of Planar Crossroads, and we hope you've enjoyed finding us on BitChute, Rumble, or YouTube. We've been doing our Mondays Live at 11. At least that's the intention. We've been doing our Mondays Live at 11. Lord willing, that's been the case. And for those of you that have been watching, you would know that those are more freeform. I doodle, I do a little art. Sometimes I show off different things I'm working on. It's very much meant to be a kind of behind the scenes, seeing what I'm doing right now. Also tips on things I'm doing for my games and such. Usually specifically Adventure Academia, since I'm working on it. But there's other things we've done too. Talked about art and how to do some of it. At least do some doodles. So there's that. I'm also working on revitalizing the Gentle Voice. The Gentle Voice TV is what it is on YouTube. I should actually properly say that. The Gentle Voice TV on YouTube. It is a channel based upon channels whose purpose is to do ministry videos. So if you want to see some ministry videos, or you have suggestions on how to employ different things from what we see here in our ministry videos, you can tell me. And by this time, I'm not sure, but we filmed when I was up there with Dan last year. Yeah, it would be last year from staying.
Yeah.
When I was up with Dan last year, we did 4 recordings. They're with 2 different groups, and they were for how faith has influenced your gaming and how gaming has influenced your faith. So hopefully those have been fun and enlightening for some people, and we're going to be releasing hopefully one of those in January. Might have already happened yet. I don't know. So, because I haven't edited them yet. I'm getting everything done for this year that needs edited before I do that. Keeping things contained. So, that's what I've got. What about you, Dan?
Hello, everyone. Dan from Avenue Studios. You can find us on Rumble, YouTube, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. We, of course, during these theme month collaborations with Inn of Planar Crossroads, create one-shots and play them with our supporters based on the conversations we have here on Around the Hearth. So Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. The second Thursday, we build the one-shot, and the fourth Thursday of the month, we play it live with our supporters. So if you support us through Patreon or Locals, you become a part of one of those games. We would love to have you join us. And Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, is our AfterQuest show. We will have ended that campaign, The Nobles of Waterdeep in 5th edition, as of this final Around the Hearth chat being posted. So we'll be in our little break, and who knows what we'll start up next. A new system, a new game. There's some things in the works, we will see. But join us for that, live on Rumble. And then, of course, we have announced this month, at the end of December, actually, we'll be announcing, so it hasn't happened yet when we recorded it, but that's a secret, don't tell anyone. We'll be announcing that we are launching a West March game in Pathfinder Kingmaker for our supporters on our Discord. Pathfinder Kingmaker is now fully integrated with Foundry Virtual Tabletop, so we'll be utilizing that to the fullest extent, as well as some bots that bring it over into Discord. So it's going to be play-by-post, and then actual games, virtual games that we'll be playing in Foundry, and everyone in the Discord is going to be a part of it to some extent or another, and I'm really excited to see how that unfolds. So love to have you be a part of that as well if you want to support us. So that is us, and after a spotlight, I'm looking forward to talking pets.
All right. Well, he's right. There's still a spotlight left, and he's not here with us in body or voice, but he's here with us in heart. So Levi's spotlight. It is going to be for, as it has been for the previous ones, the Dungeon Minister. So there we go. Dungeon Minister. He does a lot of recaps about the games that he both plays at home or out in different, different
conventions.
Conventions. There's the word. And so you can check those out if you want to. He is, let me see. Welcome to my channel. I'm an Anglican priest and an old D&D nerd, I think he said.
Yeah,
Something
I think
like
he's hardcore into the Beckme.
So there you go.
Specifically. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So you can check him out. And he is currently, as of our recording, at 1.82K. So let's get him up to 2,000.
Yes.
And if you guys want to, also send me some information on other people who need shouted out. What other small channels do you want shouted out? Occasionally I'll find a really small one, like we did Wiz and Pip Adventures not long ago. I think it was in December. So those type of things.
He just posted a spicy one on Wizard of the Coast. I haven't watched it yet. I gotta check that out.
So there you go. All right. That's what we've got as far as our announcements and our shout out, which means it's time to grab your preferred beverage, pull up a chair around the hearth, and join us as we discuss Pet Quest. Skål.
Oh.
Okay. Just like last time, we are going to go through this one and give a few examples of different pieces of media you can draw upon. And then after that, we will do some recommendations on systems. And then after that, we will go into general discussion. So, Pet Quest. For mundane ones, because I do think, unlike in the Toy Time Trials, where it's really hard to do a mundane game when you're already delving into fantastical or absurd areas like toys coming alive and being alive. Here you don't have to do that because pets have spirits and bodies of their own self. They have things they want to do. So, as far as the mundane, some things you can draw upon are Homeward Bound. That was one of my favorites when I was younger.
I was going to say, if you don't mention that one, I'd be disappointed.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yep. Homeward Bound. There's Babe. That one does have a little bit of absurdity in it, but all of the absurdity stays within the animals themselves, so I kind of put it in the mundane. Lassie. That's one that's very much directly mundane. 101 Dalmatians actually doesn't have any fantasy in it. All the absurdity stays within the animal communications. So that's a thing. And then Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very personal, mundane story. So there's that one.
Could mix Game Meets World and Pet Quest together.
This is like pet drama. Oh no. Stuff's getting crazy in here.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. So then we get into the more absurd. Something to draw from but not necessarily imitate is Up. In the dogs in Up. Squirrel!
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Because you start to cross that barrier of human and animal. So it starts to lean into the absurd. I mean, aside from the fact that he floated his whole house off with balloons.
With balloons.
So.
Not only that, ripped the foundation out of the ground.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he does actually rip the entire foundation out of the ground, I think. If I remember the way it went. It wasn't just the wood that came up.
No. Yeah, because they need pipes, brass pipes. Okay. Anyways.
They were corroded pipes anyway.
I love it.
All right.
It's beautiful.
I mean, the best part of the movie is like the first, 5 minutes or 10 minutes?
Oh my God.
That's so hard.
Not to derail, but I took my grandparents to that, having no idea how it was going to start. We're all like weeping. And I'm like, what is happening? I just brought my grandparents to a Pixar film.
It's supposed to be family friendly, man. All right.
Anyways.
That's up.
Heartstrings, yep.
There's also that weird one, Rango, that Johnny Depp played in. He played that lizard.
Yes.
Where he was a pet that ended up getting out. He got lost in the desert. And so he came upon a western town. It does very much verge into the fantastical. So I could see you making that argument there. There's Frankenweenie. That's a kind of a... If you like the Addams Family type of vibe, you can do that with pets there. So Frankenweenie. Redwall would fall into the absurd because it is not... It's not like it's full-on fantasy, I wouldn't think. It's more like...
Right.
Because the animals do things that are absurd. They have civilization and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's not huge levels of magic to from what I understand about Redwall. It's very much the mice are in this situation. They're having to face down the serpent or the cat or things along that line. It keeps it very much within that vein. So I would still put it in the absurd, but I could be convinced otherwise if you do so in the comments. So. And as far as the fantastical, then we get things like dogs versus cats, which was a...
Yes. My wife loves them.
So it's very much a B movie. But it's a fun B movie. It knows it's a B movie, and it doesn't pretend to be. It's not pretentious. There's ninja cats in it. All right, they know what they're doing.
Dark Cloud. Is that what we're calling my plan?
Plan Dark Cloud. And you get to play. You can do a lot of fun things with that. So that's fantastical.
Fun setting.
That's sci-fi fantastical. And then there's like League of Superheroes, which was a movie that came out not too long ago. I haven't watched it, but I heard about it in a preview. And it's basically the pets of the superheroes and how they interact with each other. So if you want to have pets with superpowers, there you go. You can do it.
That's pretty funny.
So that's what I've got as far as media recommendations. For more system-based recommendations, we had things brought up as we have been before, like Powered by the Apocalypse and Fate for resolving things. Kane specifically brought these up in our off chat, in our text version, when it was talking about conflict resolution without combat. But the thing is, with pets, you can resort to combat if you need to progress the story. There's nothing wrong with that. So you can still use them, just however you want to. We've been consistently bringing up the Wander Home that he mentioned.
Right.
Mouse Ritter, which is something that Scrat has been had a lot of fun with. Which would be very useful for a Redwall style campaign, I would think, or at least a Redwall style game.
And a slice of life with animals too, because it's very survivalist, if I remember right.
There's a lot of resource gathering. You harvest things. You manage your inventory because that makes a difference and stuff like that. So if you want to play something like that, you could definitely check that out. It would probably fit very well. You can also do, again, the more agnostic systems. You got Sagas and Open Legend. Both of those are up. So you got Sagas if you want something quick and fast. To pop something into and kind of get it going. And then you've got Open Legend if you want something that's slightly more crunchy but still maintains the narrative as peak. So those are some good options there.
I'll tag on, I don't think it's out yet, but Pathfinder's coming out with Howl of the Wild. We did a Druid's Table on that a little while back, and that's going to have awakened animals in it.
Okay.
So probably leaning much more fantastical, but could do Redwall type with that, because it's going to be Pathfinder 2nd Edition rule set. I just can't remember off the top of my head when it's coming out, but they might not have announced when it's coming out, but it's in the pipeline. And then if you've watched on Nerdarchy, they've been running their Zoo Mafia game, which I just double checked it. By the time this video comes out, I think the Kickstarter will be over, but you could check out their live plays of that. That looks like a lot of fun. So it's animals in the zoo, but it's flavored as Mafia style with the different factions. And
That would fit right along with this. Just shift it to the house.
Yep.
Or the pet store.
Ooh, pet store would be good. Yes, that would. I bet you could translate that real easy.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into general discussion then, because pet store, that's prime place.
That is.
Because you've got reptiles, you've got birds, you've got mammals, and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And that just lends itself so well. We've been talking about a couple times is the factions and the interpersonal relationships, because you can really lean into tropes of like what the reptiles would be like, or the snakes, all that.
And I think
the old dog that's been there a long time, no one's taken him,
Yep, those are very much good. That's a good place for it. Another good place, if we're talking about setting areas, a farm.
Yep, totally.
Because I remember us talking about the chickens and the ducklings and stuff like that, and farms and animals being. The fun thing for us was that when we were bringing it up, we were like, "Yeah, and you're playing the animals, and all of this is happening." And then the farmer's just looking at these normal animals fighting with each other. He's like, what are they doing?
Yes.
Because he's not seeing anything. He's not seeing it the way that they're seeing it type of situation.
Yes. It's harkening back to some, like talking about recess and stuff, where it's in the imagination of who you're playing.
Yeah.
Where that actual line is could be fun to blur.
Yep. So those are fun things to play with. And I think doing it in a modern setting, the pet store is pretty easy, but part of the fun lies with a pet game is making the house a kind of its own place. Kind of like we mentioned with the toy game. Houses become castles and keeps, and dungeons are big storage buildings, or if you're playing in a junkyard dog game, you can do that too. The entire junkyard becomes your playground. So,
that is a good setting, because then you can have that reason for a lot of other wild animals coming through or in to interact or be enemies.
Yeah, there's a raccoons over there.
Yeah,
type of thing.
Yes.
So there's that. Oh, I almost forgot. If we want to go full, really fantastical while maintaining a mundane skill set, all dogs go to heaven.
Oh, man. Yes.
That work.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of potential in that one.
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
It would allow, if you're setting it in your game you already have, it would allow you to explore the afterlife for animals in your game, in your setting. If you're not, and you're just playing it as a one-off, well, sometimes it's good to play a one-off that, messes with the heart a little bit.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I really... I was just thinking, there's this other film, Cats, and it's a foreign film that my kids really enjoy watching, and it has something like that. It's on the absurd, I think, because they kind of make the animals stay real, but it's a coming-of-age type story that actually would make a really good adventure. It's a lot of... and it goes into that again. I love the one thing with the pets is the faction thing. You can really play with the tropes of cats and dogs and mice and how they would interact. And in the cats one, the raccoons are like the bruiser henchmen of the main baddies and stuff. It's really great. I love it. You
want we should mess them up? We could take care of this for you.
The trash pandas.
Yeah. Well, raccoons, they're pretty ingenious and ingenuitive if you watch them. They have posable thumbs, they can get into trouble.
And they will.
Yep, they're like cats with thumbs. That's what they're like.
That's a really good way to explain it.
If your cat had thumbs, how much trouble would it get in? Yeah. That. So, there is that. I do think playing awakened animals is fun, but I think it takes away from the pet portion if you're an awakened animal. So I would kind of... Part of the fun of playing a pet is to put your mind in the mind of a pet. This is why we like watching something like Homeward Bound, because you're having to deal with that as a pet would. What would the pet do? Mm-hmm. It just wants to get back to its owner. It just wants to get back to the master.
Yep.
That's it. Because it's a pet. It's an animal. It's not like humans. And we do... This is an important thing to look at when you're playing your games. You are not playing you as a pet, usually. You are playing the pet. Mm-hmm. So, if you're going to play a multi-session type of thing, like Homeward Bound makes a really good multiple session type of game, a sum shot, because you've got to get from point A to point B, and you can have a lot of fun with it.
Yep. Clear goal, set timeline, and obstacles to overcome. It really is a nice adventure set up for you.
Yep.
All those good old movies.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, you guys can fuss at us about liking the older movies if you want to, like from the 90s backwards, but there's a reason that those are repeated, and there's a reason Disney's trying to remake all their stuff. So I'm just throwing it out there.
Spicy.
Yeah. Come at me, Bob. Come at me, Mr. Iger. What are you going to do? I ain't got nothing for you to take. So, anyway.
I love you.
But those are some fun things you can do. I think that it will differ if you want to play city pets versus country pets. There's a big difference there. So if you want to
city
play
mouse,
that
country mouse, right?
Mm-hmm. You do city mouse, country mouse type of situation. Mm-hmm. But to be fair, I don't know that if you take a dog out of the city, it wouldn't want to just stay in the country, considering it would get to run around all day. It may want to go back to its human, but it would be more accurate to say it would want its human to come back to it.
Unless it's a purse dog, then it's not.
Well, that's true, but I think purse dogs even like to go running around, because most of those purse dogs are Chihuahuas, and they are hyper and annoying. So throw them outside and let them have some fun, and then bring them back in. As long as there's no hawks around, because then the hawks will just scare them off.
You're right. They're smaller than the rabbits. We got a young bald eagle looking at Ryan's rabbits. Just watches them.
He just looks at Ryan and says, "Those would be delicious."
Just let him out of the cage.
But you can do that. There is a fun game you could do. It's not specifically with pets, but it's with farm animals. You could do The Turkey Realizes What Happens on Thanksgiving, and now he's trying to escape.
Oh my goodness. Just on that. What's the one from Artman Studios? Chicken Run? Chicken Run.
Yep.
That's another one too.
You do Chicken Run.
I love that idea. The turkey realizes what's going to happen. It's kind of, not Babe, but Charlotte's Web sort of thing. Well,
if you wanted to do a really slice of life one, yeah, you could do that. You could do a Charlotte's Web type of game where people are getting ready for the fair. And if you want to be nice and not kill your players later, you can say that they're all non-edible animals, or, like one's a horse.
Characters, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want to kill the characters off. They could be playing, one's in a horse show at the fair, one's going to be One's a lady lamb that's going to be at the fair, shown off. So you can do that.
That would be a great slice of life. Challenge events to build up. You've got training roles and then the performance roles at the fair. And there could be an ongoing, like they're building up to like the state fair or county, however big you want to go.
And this is
That'd be fun.
It's also an option to blend the two things that we've talked about as far as this one and then the homesteady type of sim game that we talked about. So maybe in some of the game, they make this farm up or this homestead up that is doing all these things. And then later on, you come back to that, and now they get to play the animals on the farm that they raised. So they picked the animals, whether it's fantasy or not, and now they get to play them. They get to play one of them that's going to be there for the show. So they've got to get themselves looking good for the show, or maybe each of the kids or the farmers or if you did a settlement, each of the growers in the area needed to prepare something to prepare livestock if we're going to do pets. Or if it was not just pets, but if it was pet specific, maybe they're competing in a herding competition with the herd dogs, stuff like that. So the dogs are got to do that. That's a babe thing. So
right, because then depending on how kind of absurd, if you want to get into the babe where they can talk to each other and you actually have to have some interpersonal relationship between the dog and the sheep. Everything. That'd be great.
Baram you.
Oh, you're gonna get me saying the whole thing.
Baram you.
The other thing I thought about with this is a great idea with the fairs as an ongoing game, because you could also have kind of combat where you're rolling against other performers, and then you could have your rivals showing up. You could have these repeated other animals that you're always like, maybe they've bested you before, or bested you in the last competition. You gotta take it up a notch this time. That would make some great combat feel without actual combat, keeping it more towards the slice of life.
So you've got like your show bull, and he's like the Angus bull, and then he sees across the deal. So he's from Avenue Farms, and he sees across the way Crossroads Farms, and it's got and he just looks and he says, Charlet. And the white Charlet bull replies, Angus. And they do this whole thing.
Yes, oh my word, that would be so much fun.
So rival farms competing, stuff like that.
And for players, if you had each of the players being a different animal, you could have so much fun as the GM picking the different rivals and like kind of workshopping that ahead of time with the players. Like, who would your rival be? What do they look like? And then just that anticipation of them showing up and like putting on the name. And then if you're doing multiple competitions over the campaign, that satisfaction of putting on the voice or whatever you do to signify to the player that it's their rival and their reaction. That's so satisfying for me as a game master.
Yep. All right. I think we're kind of close, if I'm judging my time right. So, let's go ahead and get to finals. Why don't you start our final this time?
Alrighty. Let's see. So I was thinking about the difference between the wakened animals and pets. I think for my final thought is we talking about the pets and doing more of the slice of life stuff, or like the Zoo Mafia where it gets a little more fantastical or really great. If you want to do awakened animals, what's kind of fun is that you could take the awakened animals and some of the stuff we've been talking about with the pets and use them within any of the other chats we've had. Like awakened animals, high school drama. That sounds great to me.
Well, I mean, that's what Sailor Moon had. She had an awakened cat.
So. Yeah, there you go.
You can correct me in the comments if you want, Sailor Moon fans.
But that's what's really good, because I love Redwall. So on the flip side from pets, playing awakened animals, and Kane had pointed out with the, what was it, Warden? I'm suddenly blanking.
You talking about Wanderhome?
Wanderhome. I wanted to say Warden. Wanderhome. He was talking about how that can be a non-combat Redwall-esque style gameplay, or Mouse Ritter, like Scratch like to point out before. Those can be a lot of fun. And you can still, even if you do awakened animals, you can lean into those tropes of the animals. Like Redwall, I think Redwall does very well, and I enjoy it. Also, squirrels forever. So that's my final thought. Badgers are pretty cool too. Don't get me wrong. I just love me a squirrel.
All right, so there's the comment. I just love me a squirrel.
Yep.
That's the comment.
That's why I love Scrat.
There you go.
It's all Redwall.
Well, I will draw upon, I guess, some of the fair idea, and the game that you play with your player, what you're playing with your players in a fair or something like that. You have parameters and already established type of things to judge from. And it allows you to also pull in real world resources again, like we did with the Toy Trove and stuff like that. You can pull in real world resources and be like, okay, this is what they're actually looking for if you want to do criteria for, maybe one's playing that Show Bowl again. Well, what are they looking for in the Show Bowl? And so now you have simple criteria you can look at and say, okay, roll to see how good this is. You can actually have the players have something specific to roll for. Instead of just saying, roll for how good you look, you can say, okay, well, roll for your stance. And if you're using a more open system, you can say, what do you want to roll for your stance? Or how you're presenting yourself, or this or that. Like with Open Legend and stuff. So... that's an option you have to draw from. And you don't have to go into super detail. You just need enough detail that you have an idea of what is going on, and you can have those other antagonists roll for the same type of thing. Something fun with the pet too is the idea of sabotage inside the fair. See, what happens if it's not what if it's a pet sabotage, not a other type of sabotage? Or what if the pets are trying to save the farm or something? So there you go. I guess that leads into a different one, because you've got the fair, but you also have the idea of saving the farm, and that falling to the animals. What is it? Home on the Range, I think it is. With the 3 cows. Roseanne's one of the cows, and another lady's cows. So
2004.
Something like that, yeah.
Judi Dench. Yeah.
So those are, we've got to save the farm, y'all. And so that's an option too. And you can make it where performing good at the fair is how they save the farm. That's one option. You don't have to go as absurd as Home on the Range does, but you could. So both of those points are really good for picking up on these things and making playing pets fun. Playing only pets fun, because I do think it's a different type of discussion if you're playing pets and other people are not playing pets, because that does lead into different things.
Yep.
So unless you could make it where one player is the farmer and then everybody else is the pets, so there is still that teamwork in that sense and stuff. I think that's okay. But I don't know, I'd still like to kind of keep it segregated in that sense, simply because it's a lot easier to keep it straight in your head that you're a pet, that you're an animal,
right?
If no one else is a human.
Yeah, I think I agree just with the farmer, that separation between animal and human too, to be game master and players, kind of not saying you can't do it, but that does seem like it's a natural inclination to that.
Right. It's really easy to be a human that's pretending to be an animal, but it's kind of hard to be a human pretending to be an animal well. So, I guess how that kind of says, I don't know.
Sounds good.
I don't know. Again, fight me in the comments if you want to. I don't care.
Me.
Fight me! But I think that's everything I have. This is the final one for the month of January. We hope you have enjoyed January Jaunt. And, yeah. So, any final things for January you want to say, Avenue?
That's not too much, because we are following in Adam's footsteps of making March more of our new year. So a lot of stuff will be coming out in March. We're wrapping up Bomb Squad here, and we're going to be doing the West March style game. That'll start in March, and we've got some new shows coming out in March. So come spring, there's going to be a lot of new stuff on our channel. So hopefully I'll see you there involved in it all, and it'll be very exciting.
Yeah. I'm excited to see Bomb Squad, a 5-year campaign, come to a conclusion. That'll be fun, especially after playing a couple bad guys in it.
Thank you. Yes, do check out if you see Adam play one of the most evil characters in the campaign. Not as the players came to find out.
Yeah. Well,
but it was glorious.
It's a hard thing to judge, I wouldn't count Hazik out right away.
Not at all.
Especially because he still had evil to do yet.
Yes. I'll have to let you know what's going on with him, too, because stuff has happened.
All right.
So, yeah. So, look forward to spring. We're just going to hibernate through the winter here and try to survive.
Sounds like that's a sound plan in New York. It's a sound plan. All right. Well, we hope you've enjoyed. Do check out the Planar Crossroads and the Gentle Voice on Rumble and YouTube. Check out the Planar Crossroads and the Gentle Voice TV on YouTube and Rumble. Gotta remember to do that. I think that's everything, though. As always, have a great day. God bless and enjoy. Bye.
Bye.
This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.
Bathroom break done. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, man. I missed a buck this evening. So mad.
You missed a
My
buck.
mom's just texting me. Jake and Mason spooked it out. They were doing a little pushing. Went right by me, but I had the 30-06 with a scope. It was so close. I had it in my sights, but then it jumped, and I think I just went under it.
Oh, there goes that jerky.
Buckless Youper. It's all right. Ryan got one. I do all the butchering for Ryan, so I got a lot from that. And he just butchered he farms, he breeds rabbits for butchering. So.
Well, see, the butcher gets a little cut, see,
Yes.
There's a reason them butchers were corpulent fellows.
It's been a rough hunting season here. I think it's too warm. It's been too warm up here, so they don't have to travel a lot to find food. They got their good spot. Just stay right there.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways, enough of my complaining. My mom was just texting me. just trying to console me.
Thanks, Ma.
Thanks, Ma. She's like, don't worry, Ryan's got a bunch of rabbits. And 2 of my chickens have stopped laying, so we might have chicken soup soon.
Well, sometimes
We'll
they'll come back into a clutch.
Yeah,
It depends
I'll give
how
them
old
a
they
little
are.
bit. They're not too old, 2 years.
Yeah.
But they're not the best for winter. They were definitely Kristen's vanity picks because they lay these really nice blue, greenish eggs. And it got rough. One of them, the rest of the flock killed her. Chickens are nasty creatures.
Chickens are brutal to each other.
I didn't realize they could do it that fast because I saw her and I was like, oh, you're molting really poorly. And then they just pecked her to death.
Yeah. She was low hen on the picking order.
Yeah, quite literally. I felt so bad. I was like, I should have checked. I saw her in the morning. She seemed fine, but was like skittish by the end of the day. They had picked her clean of feathers, and yeah, I was too late.
Yeah.
I was bummed.
It's important to get them out too, because if they start eating them, then they might eat each other. So
right, yeah. I got her out before they actually started cutting her to death, but they smelt blood in the water. That was for sure. We separated out all of that breed because the rest were like weaklings. Will consume you. It's funny, they're not. It's like as they started pecking the other ones, and I was like, okay, you're all done. We're taking these guys out. And there's like 4 other breeds in there, and they won't bother each other because they're all winter breeds. They're like, all right.
They just go, respect.
Respect, yeah. Suffice to say, we won't be getting that breed again.
Yeah. Not in that pen.
No, yeah. We'll see. I hope they lay again in the summer, at least a little bit more. We'll see. They're pretty traumatized.
I would think so.
Mildred, no! It does get a nice story. I love telling it to my city friends. I'm like, appalled. I'm like, oh yeah, chickens are brutal.
Yeah.
The favorite meal, because we give them food scraps, their favorite scraps is chicken.
Savage. Well,
they're little dinosaurs. That's what I always say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not really, but yeah.
No.
The thing is too, city folk don't realize it. Yeah, animals are not buddies. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
They don't have a moral compass like humans do. They just
Right.
don't. Even the most social of them don't have the ones with some of the largest herd mentalities. They're not always buddies. They have different ideas. They have different concepts. They're animals.
Right. It's man, too far away from how food works, man. That's Jacob and I have an ongoing dream of joining like an Adventures League or a Pathfinder Society and playing a druid that actually treats nature as it is. So he eats meat. He just like, I've watched a hawk rip, or is it an owl? I think is it hawks or owls? One of them rips the heads off of them and leaves the bodies to show others not to come to their territory or something. It's just brutal. And it's killing for killing's sake. You know,
right, it sends a message.
Peaceful,
that's the point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not peaceful harmony balance.
Yeah, I mean, like, what would you do? We look back at past ancient man, and then people are like, look at how brutal they were. And it's like, dude, if you were in that situation, you would be just as brutal. Like, oh, they cut their head off and took it as a trophy. Yeah, David cut his head off and took it as a trophy. You know, that's a giant skull. That sends a message. He didn't just cut his head off. He took his own sword and cut his head off.
Right.
And that sword was like a great sword to someone. You know, probably
Right.
was like at least an arming sword, if not a great sword, depending on how big the size was. It's like, man. It's like, don't mess around.
Don't mess around. I mean, my cats play with mice and birds till they die of shock.
Yeah.
They're not hungry. They're very well fed by me. It pays money to feed them.
Yeah.
They're just killing for fun.
They're just killing to. They're practicing, Dan. They're practicing.
Yes.
They don't want to get out of shape, okay?
Yeah, right. Because you never know.
Because you never know if
The
these
magic
two
box
humans,
of cat food might stop.
you never know if these two humans are going to keep it up, yo.
Right.
They're just making secondary plans, man. Contingencies.
This is the perfect discussion to go into Pet Quest.
Pet Quest, yeah. All right, we should probably do that.
Sounds good. The dark tale.
The dark Pet Quest. I mean, all right.